It's been 5 years. A long time ago, when dinosaurs walked the earth, I used to create fantastic art videos trying to influence and manipulate the minds of young people into thinking art was cool. And after I successfully influenced a generation of growing artists with 3 of my videos, I disappeared into thin air like this. But with the rise of AI that had the chance to birth technologies to solve the mysteries of the world, like, I don't know, time travel, hair falls, Indian daily soap writers, I can think of so many, but instead it chose to give birth to art generator shit slops that deemed my teachings worthless, and I had to leave everything and come back for you. But am I the same person, you might wonder? No. So 5 years in the pandemic later, I hereby return much cooler, smarter, possessor of average sperm count, and now I go outside much more than before. I dive deep into learning 3D, and now I emerge a knowledgeable, highly fertile 3D artist. This is so stupid. That boring editor's words can't hurt me. Let me show you my 3D skills. Let me show you how I made this. Cut here. Wait. Let's go step by step. Let's take our time. It's not like the world is collapsing or something. So, a few months ago, Crystal Dynamics announced Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis, which seems to be a remake of Tomb Raider Anniversary, which was a remake of Tomb Raider 1. So I went back and played Tomb Raider Anniversary again, and after my post-nut clarity, I thought I needed to make something of it. And it was possible because I am unemployed and have lots of free time. Please subscribe. The most memorable part of the game for me was the T-Rex part. So I thought, why not make the T-Rex cutscene entirely? And I understand if some of you don't have a context, so this is what the original cutscene looked like. This looks super tough, man. कैसे करूँगा यार? So I first started with creating a mood board. I illegally downloaded the cutscene and set up a storyboard and divided the scene into these shorts and sub-shorts. Then I created a rough map and I noted down their positions to get an idea of the scene. Then I went ahead and collected a few references, and I more or less got an idea of what it was gonna look like. So to create the scene, I started off with the characters. I needed Lara Croft, the T-Rex and the Raptors. So the first thing I did, I collected a few references on the old Lara Croft designs. It took me a while to get the right references, as it's really easy to get distracted. Wait, how did I get here? So after spending some time correctly referencing, I started with the character base using MetaHuman Creator in Unreal Engine. The good thing about characters from MetaHuman Creator is that it comes rigged, so I don't have to lose my shit for that. It's a great tool, but where are the Unfortunately, the hair library is pretty limited and we don't have the same hair as Lara Croft, so she's bald for the time being. We'll make their hair groom in Blender. Really happy with how this came out. I will now create the outfit outside of Unreal Engine and then bind it to the body skeletal mesh later. Now that we got the base body, let's start with the outfit and hair. I use Style 3D Atelier for the outfit. Style 3D Atelier is a free clothing tool and has a massive library of cloth assets. I downloaded the cloth that was very close to my design, edited a little bit, and it was done. I exported the high poly and the low poly for it for texturing purposes later on. I then got it to Blender. I then assembled other assets from multiple sources, mostly from Blender Kit. Like, look at these boots, it's the exact same one. I mean, what are the odds? Also, the default size of some of the assets didn't match my MetaHuman Lara Croft, so I sculpted them as needed and modified a little bit to match the original design. I then made the remaining assets like the gun holster and the backpack and this cool grappling hook. I then got them into Substance Painter and textured it. Look at how professionally I'm doing this. Be inspired. Also, even though the boots came with textures, I retextured over it again to give that earthy and worn out look. Then I made this really fantastic hair groom using Blender hair tools. After the hair was done, I finally imported everything to Unreal Engine, set individual skeletal meshes of the outfits and the accessories using the MetaHuman skeletal mesh, and transferred the weight onto them from the MetaHuman skeletal mesh, set them up in MetaHuman Blueprint, and this is what our Lara Croft looks like.
Only of course one small problem being
the hair exploding when I move the character. And I'm not a super expert in grooms, so rather than forcing this to simulate accordingly as per the physics and explode my computer, I'm going to convert it into hair cards. That should be a little lighter on the screen as well, as I can see my scene is feeling a little laggy with this much hair groom. But we will skin that pig when we reach that bridge. Alright, for now let's move on to the dinosaurs. I know you all have been waiting for that. Luckily, I got this T-Rex model from Blender Kit and this Raptor from Fab. The Raptor came without any rig, but the T-Rex came with this rig, which was great until I moved this jaw. It looked like one of my cousins. Manif, I miss you. Please give me a kiss. And I also wanted to have these spines from the original design, and I wanted to make a few other small tweaks. So I disassembled the T-Rex, added these spines and rigged it again, this time with proper jaw. Did some tedious amount of weight paint, imported to Unreal Engine, did a little bit of weight paint there too, fixed some rigs, and voila, vulva. I have this nice T-Rex in my scene ready to be animated. Although to animate the T-Rex I need control rigs, so I made one in Unreal Engine. I'll try to make a video on it someday, maybe not, but this is how the rig looks like, and here is a T-Rex after I pose it. Pretty cool. This was a lot of work. So the next, I did the same process with the Raptor 2. I made the deformed bones in Blender and made the control rigs in Unreal Engine, and now we have all the characters assembled.
And now, the thing that I've been putting off for a really long time, hair cards.
I studied methods, read vlogs about it, watched tutorials, videos, pornography. I couldn't find a reliable and easier workflow. All of them were extremely tedious and hard work for a lazy guy like me. I needed an easier solution. And one high noon, as I was rolling, definitely a piece of paper for fun, I had a 100% brain moment. The solution was not creating new hair cards. The solution was to use the existing hair grooms and convert that into hair cards using some tricks.
Look, this might be an actual industry standard process, but I felt really smart at the time. So shut the fuck.
So this is what I did. I opened my Blender, went to my hair groom, reduced the hair density, applied all the modifiers on the groom, converted the hairs into meshes, reduced the number of vertices from the meshes, converted them into curves, kept them flat profiles by extruding the curves, Ctrl T to rotate them to your desired angle, and converted them back into meshes again. The hair cards got ready. Then I unwrapped them, and using this really nice free add-on UV Toolkit or Mio 3, I mapped the meshes to these nice hair textures that I got from ArtStation, and Violin, I got super optimized hair cards. I repeated the same things for all the hair parts and combined them into one single mesh, took it to Unreal, made a custom control rig and attached to the character rig, and it wouldn't work.
Oh, you thought it would work. You thought the speed at which I was speaking was building up to a successful ending. But when has life ever gone that smoothly? Because God forbid if something goes right in this stupid engine. I found out through Unreal AI Assistant. I found out through Unreal AI Assistant that I needed a separate animation blueprint for the hair, and I have to layer it along with the MetaHuman body control rig. Who would have thought?
So I did that, and now we got a character with a ponytail that moves along with the character and can be animated. I did the same thing with the guns and the grappling hook as well. And now we have our characters ready, but we don't have the stage or the environment yet. Before I go on with detailing the scene, I made this small animatic based on the shot division I did earlier. I tried to match each cuts of the cinematic and use the exact same audio from the cutscene, and this is what it looks like. So after the animatic was done, I went ahead and polished the animation a little bit. I made this simple block out as per this map I created before. For Lara, I did some custom animation and retargeted some animations from animation sequences that I found in Fab, like this cool run cycle over here. It cut my work in half. I didn't realize I have a lot of small raptors in my scene, and I can't animate run cycles for each individual raptors. So just like Lara's run cycle, I have to drive them using animation sequences.
But I couldn't find any that were free. So I thought of motion capturing an actual dinosaur for the dinosaur animation, but for obvious reason I couldn't. I didn't have a mocap suit.
Also, to use animation sequences in the sequencer, I needed a backward solve in the control rig, so I made one. So I went ahead and made my own running animation using some references I found online. I made one for hopping and one for jumping too. This definitely helped me speed up my animation process.
But wait, what is backward solve? You interrupt casually as if we were friends.
So in general, a character control rig has a system called forward solve that manipulates the controls to drive the movement and animation of the character. But for backward solve, it's the opposite. In backward solve, the animation drives the controls of the character, and it's required for retargeting animations onto the controls of the character from the animation of another or the same skeleton. That's why earlier the metahuman animation retargeting was possible, since it already had a backward solve. I did the same for the T-Rex as well, and Violet. This is how the second pass of animation looked like.
We're very close. We just need to set up the environment now.
So this is my favorite part, creating cool environments. So for the ruins, I built some buildings with the modeling tools in Unreal itself. I used some Megascan assets for the poles and beams and whatnot. Using blend materials and vertex paint, I gave the ruin walls this nice mossy look. I then imported some Megascan rocks, trees and plants and created this nice environment. Most of the assets and vegetations are from Blender Kit and Fab. And finally, after strategically placing the assets, our environment is... Wait, we're not done yet. Why is the screen fading to black? Bring it back. Yes. So after the environment is set as per the scene, we need to light up the scene properly. So this is what the scene looks like with just the directional light. And this is what it looks like with the fake lights. I went to each of the shots and set the fake lights. And fake lights don't mean just randomly slap it in. It needs to make sense in the scene. You gotta hack with it realism, my friend.
And now, time for fog. Sounds a bit sexy. Fog. Fog.
So I placed fog cards here and there to highlight certain areas. It added this nice layer of depth to it and made the scene more atmospheric. I also used the hide fog to some extent. I used easy atmos for these small flies, and with a little bit of some final tuning in the scene and animation and post-processing and enough urinal breaks to have just the right amount of kidney stones, this is what it looks like. Don't rotate your phone if you're watching on PC because that's unnecessary. Enjoy for 30 seconds.
And just like that, you finish watching this video in just 15 minutes, unless you skip straight to the end like a psychopath and watch this particular 5-second moment and said, hey, that's me. You know, this whole thing took me like 2 months to make. In any case, congratulations! Anyway, if you enjoyed this video more than the company of your parents, then do not forget to leave a like and subscribe so that I feel agitated and peer pressured into making more similar videos. Alright then, I'll see you in the next video, or rather you will see me in my next video. Until then, I will see you again. We will all see each other in this life and then the past life and then forever. Bye bye. So yeah, subscribe. Bye bye. So stupid.